Hey everybody, this is Young Living Diamond Sarah Harnish, and I'm super excited to be here tonight. I get to talk about gut health one last time, and so that means it's a really good day. Thank you so much for popping in and checking out the page. If you do not know what I'm doing, I have written a new book, and it's called the Game Plan Oils Script Book, and it's designed to give you 25 oils classes in one place. And I paused today for a little bit and was just thinking through, why do I do Young Living? Why does Young Living matter so much to me? Why is it going to be my company for life? And why is it important to me? And I realize, number one, I love that the Lord gets the credit for everything that he created. Like, I couldn't jump into something else where he wasn't getting the glory and wasn't getting the credit. Number two, it's the first network marketing company I've ever done. So I mean, it's pretty crazy that the Lord will just kind of come alongside you and give you the tools and stuff that you need to be able to grow. But um, it's just something that I feel very passionate about because I get to talk about his stuff every single day. And that makes it something that's very special for me. Third, I've seen people's lives completely changed, and my life's been completely changed because of Young Living forever. And not just financially, but relationally. I got to hang out with a leader that was one of the first people that I had ever signed to my team, and we hung out for a couple of hours today, and it was just so refreshing, to sit with people that are like-minded. And yeah, it's totally changed my life. So I write books about how it's changed my life. And my latest one is, the goal with this project was to try to give you a lot of topics that you could train on, especially as we're coming out of the pandemic. Because I found that when you do training with people and you sit down and you meet them where they are, and you meet them where their needs are, that you will see growth. They will see growth, they will be blessed, and you will see growth as well in your business. So I love this format. It's 25 different classes in one space. And then every single week we launch a media package that allows you to be able to go out and teach these classes. So, and the media packages, the PowerPoints, they're completely free. So we are in the middle of the gut health class. We did the class on Tuesday, and I did the mini yesterday. And so tonight we're going to talk about the workbook. The workbook just puts action steps to the class. And the class that we did this week was the gut health class. So that means Tuesday is supplements, which I love training on supplements because there's longevity in your business when you bring people the nutrients that they need for their body. When they find a hole in their nutrition and they're out there and they are filling that hole, whether it's enzymes or omegas or ningxia, antioxidants, probiotics, they find that hole, they're going to see a quality of life, their quality of life increase. So I love training on supplements because ours are oil infused, which makes them very unique and very special. Oils act as a delivery system to the human body. So whenever you're taking a supplement, you're infusing with oil, that's a really good day because it's going to make it more bioavailable to the body. So we'll talk about supplements next week. And then also in July, we've got a whole class on enzymes, which I love that class because enzymes, man, the biggest thing for me is flat stomach. Like, helps me maintain my physique. And it's because it's breaking down food, not because I'm at the gym 10 hours a day. We're also going to do the skin class in July, Blue Martin Savvy, and then the hair class, which is probably my most requested class outside of the Gary Young class in this book. So that's what's on deck for this upcoming month. We got supplements, enzymes, skin, and hair. Then in the month of August, we've got so many more good classes coming, a whole class just on teeth, how to take care of your teeth. I am 43 years old. I don't have any cavities. So I'd love to talk to you guys about what I do for my tooth protocol: hormones, animal aromatherapy, massage for couples, intro to diffusers, seedlings, the manly man class. That one's really fun. I'm going to bring some men in to help me teach it. The techniques class, so neuroauricular ears and valor balancing, how to make your own blends, einkorn, and then a tribute to D. Gary Young, which I actually just taught this afternoon. And that's a super special class to me. So let me share my screen and pop over here and just see how you guys are doing. Make sure everybody is okay, that you found the video all right. Oh, let me hold on here. I love it when your buttons are right over the other buttons that you need to be clicking on for all the buttons, right? Yay, that's awesome. I'm so glad to have you guys on. Yeah, the enzymes class is going to be awesome. Charmaine is from Oregon. It's really good to see you. Sarah says, I'm really excited about enzymes. Jenny says, thanks for all you do. Girl, thanks for all that you do. Getting out there and building is hard. It's no small task. So we've got some great classes ahead of us. And if you can pop in only for the classes, that's not a problem at all. You're not late to the party. This boot camp is running for many, many more weeks. So you can pop in and just catch a class, and you're not behind on anything, because every single week we're resetting. So on Tuesday, I teach a class. Wednesday, we go over the mini. I've created a mini that helps get people to your classes and markets you. And then on Thursday, I do the workbook. So if you're ever looking for these classes and where to find them, you just go to oilabilityteam.com. You will go to share, and then the script book is right here. So if you click on the script book and you scroll down, you will see all the classes that are available. And then each of these are hyperlinked. So all the PowerPoints and everything that you need for oils right here: Thieves, Ningxia, CBD, Kids, everything's all in one spot. So if we go to the gut health class, you will find we are working on a challenge calendar for you, the blank PowerPoint. We will get the full PowerPoint up tomorrow for you guys. Coloring pages, graphics to market your classes. So all of those things will all be on one page. So we've given you all the blank slides, and the full one will go up tomorrow for you guys. All right. If you haven't had a chance to see the full PowerPoint, let me just bring it up. We've got gut health right here. So this is what it looks like. We got a little remembering Gary. So we always start out with the beginning of the dividers and the stories of the diamonds. I love this quote from Thomas Edison: the doctor of the future will give no medication, but will interest his patients in the care of the human frame, diet, and in the cause and prevention of disease. Are you really fine? You can't use an oil to band-aid a lifestyle decision. What is your gut? Facts about the gut. Why is gut health so important? What damages the gut? We talk a little bit about the GAPS diet, which is one thing that has helped me tremendously. Offenders and healers: sugar, gluten, and dairy. What can I eat? Fermented foods, foods that heal the gut lining. Bone broth, which a huge shout out to Missy. Missy spent all day making her own bone broth. I'm going to have to show you guys her picture because she totally slayed it. Oh, let's see. Facts about here it is. Why is gut health? Let me get off that page. No, I don't want to hear myself talking. The GAPS diet, which is hold on one second, guys. I am not terribly tech savvy. And dairy. Here we go. There's her picture. Isn't that awesome? So that's Missy making her own broth today because of the gut health class. So huge shout out to her and all of the hard work that she is doing to do some gut repair. So also in the class, we got organic foods, good fats. What can I eat again? I give you some places to start learning some of my favorite cookbooks. We did a little probiotic study, and I brought in a Young Living video. Enzymes and omegas is kind of a tease for next Tuesday. You do not want to miss the supplements class. Is there an oil that helps with gut health? And there actually is. We studied a little about frankincense, and then wrapped it up with the DIY and the apply it section. So tonight we are going to go like full throttle with the apply it section in the workbook. So, but I wanted to do a shout out. we crossed a kind of a cool anniversary. And that was the anniversary of me doing my own cover design. So this is actually the original game plan book and the original game plan workbook. This is the original title of the book, a companion to the most comprehensive strategy guide to go from starter kit to silver. And when I wrote game plan, I was a platinum in Young Living. So let's just look at this side by side, shall we? I thought this would make you guys laugh a little bit. This really shows off my lack of ability to do design work. I am not a graphic designer. I'm a writer. I'm a researcher. So here we have, the script book, and here we have the game plan workbook. So we could literally take a blue background and put a blue background on it and type the words on it. And this book, game plan, literally took my husband and I like 10 hours to make that cover. I mean, we really worked hard on that. I'm so thankful that we have an amazing graphic arts team now that are very, very gifted, and they do this so much better than I do. I don't know if you guys know this, but in the script book, all of the dividers in between each of the classes, those are actually the plants in that class. So if you go to the Thieves page, it's got, a bunch of the plants that are in the Thieves blend. So we did a lot of research to put all those dividers together, and for the teachers editions to really make them look good for you guys, so that you have something pretty to look at that is not my design work, because I love you more than that. I do not want you to have to look at my design work. All right, let me go over here and take a look at your comments, because yeah, that's legit. Can't find the button to download the blanks for Fearless. I'll take a look, Denise, and see if our button's wonky. Okay, I'm teaching a class on Monday. Where do I find these slides? You're going to go to oilabilityteam.com, and then you go to share, and you'll see a button for the Game Plan Oil script book. And when you see that button, all of the classes are listed underneath there. So let's take a look at the workbook tonight after our little game plan throwback. This is chapter 10, the gut health class, which means 2 more weeks and we're officially halfway through everything in the Game Plan Oil script book, which is crazy. This book was 4 years to research, to write these classes. So it was a whole bunch of work, but I pray that it's a huge blessing to you. I had a leader I was working with today that was really skittish on teaching new classes and deviating from what she had been doing leadership wise. And I told her, I was like, well, I said, bring in new content to your team and see if you can get them excited and get more people showing up to your classes. And she did. And it's just been a complete turnaround for her business. And she told me she's got more excitement now than she's had in the last 3 years in her business, because she's got more content and it's more fun to train on. So new topics always will excite your teams. So chapter 10, there's always a little intro to this topic, and this is gut health. This is the one class that isn't like vehemently oils. There are some oils components to it, definitely with the supplements, but and with frankincense, but most of this class focuses on diet and what you're allowing in your home and which things cause gut damage and how to repair the lining of the gut. So we're going to take this apart in 10 different parts and kind of look at it sideways and upside down and inside out. And I'll give you some real tangible hands-on things that you can do to use this as a tool to grow OGV for your business. So this class is oddly exciting to me. You think to yourself, why is the gut exciting? So I am inside the workbook right now. If you're unfamiliar with the workbook, let me go over and show you guys here. You can see everything okay. Can anyone find the gut health class? Yeah, gut is absolutely everything. This is what the workbook looks like. It's the blue book. That's what we're training out of tonight. And we're almost halfway through this book. We're at 110. I almost opened up halfway and we're like right here with the workbook. So I just have it full screen, so it's a little bit easier for you guys to see. Hello there, Evelyn. I'm glad that you popped in. So this class is really exciting to me. You might ask yourself, why is the gut exciting? Well, you understand how hard it is to be in Young Living and see so much sickness around you, right? You want your friends and your family to be well, but they keep poisoning themselves with comfort items like processed food at the store or fast food on the way to a soccer game. They've got candles in their home. They've got air fresheners in their cars. They clean their house with poison. They wash their hair with poison. They wash their baby's hair with poison. And so you're at your wit's end trying to train them against that lifestyle. You know that you cannot contaminate the body forever without consequences. It has a breaking point. So this is not a warning to scare you. It's just a pause with a heart message. I learned that I had such a severe case of COVID-19 in early 2021 with a fever that lasted over 6 weeks and a double brain infection, actually a triple brain infection, because I had COVID and then I had a bacterial and a viral brain infection on top of it. And it was because of systemic candida that I had never dealt with. 20 years of drinking heavy pop, about 400 grams of sugar or 100 teaspoons of sugar every day was just wrecking my body. Candida loves sugar. Sugar is its food. So that systemic fungal infection created a super highway for the virus to jump on and spread everywhere, even to my brain in a very short period of time. If you've ever seen how a mushroom grows, it's also a fungus. Its tendrils connect under the ground, sometimes for miles. So the candida in my gut had tendrils through multiple parts of my body, touching my brain, touching my heart. I was able to heal with a lot of help, but now I have a year of gut work ahead of me all over again. So a decade after I changed my eating, I'm still dealing with the choices that I made in my 20s because I didn't fully rid my gut of candida. So when I get a little drop of knowledge, I really do my best to try to put it out there to help anybody that I can. I wish that I could go back and I could change the way that I was eating when I was younger, but getting the Rona gave me a true snapshot of my gut health, and it wasn't pretty. So I'd done so much work to clear up my skin and and get rid of eczema and balance my hormones and all of that, but I still had candida under the surface. So you can do some small things now to save you later. Cleanses with the change of the seasons. I like to do a cleanse at least 4 times a year. When we get to the enzymes class, which is in a couple of weeks, I go full hardcore into cleansing and show you how I do my cleanses. So it's just wonderful information. And if you haven't done a cleanse before, it's really something you want to mark your calendar for and make sure you're not missing that cleanse class. Keep your colon clear and moving. Do coffee enemas. Make sure you're walking at least 30 minutes a day. Watch your sugar count. So of all the things that I've done for my health since I started this journey, none has done as much for me as healing my gut lining. When I say that, you might say, but don't you still have candida? Yes, I do. Because I would have had to modify the diet that I was on. I would not be able to handle fermented foods for 6 months. No fruit, no honey. I'd have to do a slightly different probiotic that breaks open the shells of the candida, natural antifungals to heal that part of my gut. So I didn't know that piece of information the first time that I did the GAPS diet. But as you grow and as you heal, you learn more. So I can tell you, we did dozens of things with food alone. So I got rid of life altering migraines. I got rid of severe eczema. My son's dyslexia dramatically improved with gut health and the changes we made. My kids just left for camp for 2 weeks. And one of the first things that I did was I packed them a whole bunch of food to eat. And then I made them special food for the drive, the 2-day drive up and the 2-day drive back, because I didn't want them stopping at fast food and eating. I know it's going to mess them up right before they go to camp and they're eating processed food at camp. So I gave them healthy snacks and things. If they don't feel like they want to eat that entire meal, they've got other food to eat so that they're not hungry. And so those little changes, those little things like sending the kids to camp with good food, our lives were changed for the better by working on our gut. In fact, when the migraines ended, I got my life back and it showed me that what you eat truly does matter. And so now for me, it's time for round 2 of gut healing. Today is actually my first day back on GAPS again in 2021 since I had COVID-19, because I never want to relive quarter 1 of 2021 ever again. So it's time to dive into this class. And it's one of my favorites in the book, because if you're working on your gut, you're going to see healing. And I would love for you to feel better. So I'm not going to answer all of these questions with you, but the first thing is we just go through some key points from the class. So if this is a topic that really hits you hard, pull out your workbook, take your script book and go through and find some of the answers to these questions and write them down. So 90% of sickness and disease, what is it? It starts in the gut. What is your gut? That one you remember, because I went over it a couple of times yesterday. Starts where the food goes in and ends where the food comes out, right? So from your mouth to your butthole. Give me a fact about the human gut. Name 2 things that damage the gut. Why don't you guys name 2 things that damage the gut? And I'll pick a winner for a couple of workbooks. So we'll do our giveaways in the middle this time. What are the goals of GAPS? What are the biggest healers in the standard diet? Find something that you eat regularly, so 3 to 4 times a week, and write how much sugar is in that one thing on this line. So we're not just going to go into the class, but I also want to bring it home to you and get you really thinking about the things that you're putting in your body. Do you think you have a gluten sensitivity? Try going 30 days with no gluten and then check this box if you make it all the way through. And then tell me how you feel off of gluten here. So write down, accept the gluten challenge and see how you feel after 30 days of going gluten-free. And I'm not talking about replacing everything you eat with gluten-free stuff. So you can't get gluten-free bread so you can make a sandwich every day, and gluten-free pasta so that you can have noodles 4 days a week. Like, you got to cut all the gluten and the gluten-free stuff out, because a lot of the gluten-free stuff is just organic junk food. It's got a lot of filler and things in it that your body does not need to be able to heal. What's in milk from the store? Write down a fermented food that you've never heard of before. Give me one reason you should drink bone broth regularly. I was just sipping it all afternoon today. Shop the what of the grocery store. That's an easy one. The perimeters of the grocery store. If you guys ever need the answers to these and you can't find it, we actually have a whole answer key up on the script book page, so you can download that entire thing. What percent of canola oils from genetically modified plants? Tell me something about probiotics. Tell me something about enzymes. What percent of Americans buy processed food, and which oil loves to work on the gut lining? And that one is frankincense. So frankincense vitality, take that internally. So here's some action steps to become an oiling pro. And before I jump into that, let me go over and see. Let's see. Elaine Bedingfield says diet and antibiotics. Elaine, you just won 1 workbook. Sue Kane Let's see, Kevin never had that yet. You didn't give me an answer, but Sue, I'm going to pick you anyway because I don't think you've won anything. So Sue, you just won a workbook. So that's 2 people. Pat Maglis is stress and old age. Yes, Pat, you're winner number 3. So you won a workbook. So congratulations to each of our winners. All of you guys have won one workbook. Just go ahead and email me at oilabilitywithsarah@gmail.com and we'll get that out to you. So here's some action steps to becoming an oiling pro. What are some things you can start doing right now to help your gut without fully starting a diet like GAPS? I do believe wholeheartedly that if you want full healing, you should just jump in. But the time that you choose to do that is between you and the Lord. So I like to make sure I know how to make bone broth. I like to learn maybe 4 or 5 recipes so that I know how to do the cooking that I have to do, because there's a lot of stuff that's just very different from the way we normally eat. So if you don't start today, it's okay. But if you feel convicted, you should start soon, right? Here are some very simple starting points to prep you for a radical diet change. So number 1, start drinking more water. I mean, without water, everything you eat that's bad gets reabsorbed back into the body. If you're drinking 50% of your body's weight in ounces daily, you're flushing all of that stuff out of your body. Number 2, keep a close eye on your sugar content. If at all possible, get it under 10 grams a day of processed or refined sugar. So honey, maple syrup, and stevia do not count. And fruit and high sugar vegetables, I don't count those either, like peas, carrots. Now, if you're on a diet like keto, you're gonna have to count all of that stuff. But for GAPS, you're allowed to have honey once you hit stage 6. So do a colon cleanse. The cleansing trio is great for this. The cleansing trio consists of essential zyme, ICP, and comfort tone. Then start to learn a few new skills. So this is just to prep you if you want to do a diet like the GAPS diet. At the very least, I get an organic chicken and practice making bone broth because it's so nourishing to the gut. I sneak my broth into just about everything. So I put it in fruit smoothies for my kids, taco meat, casseroles, even pancake and waffle batter in place of some liquids. If you're not salted or seasoned, if you haven't salted or seasoned it, then you can hide it in almost anything. So you can even put it in sweet things if you haven't put salt in it. You just replace the water. So after a while, you'll start to crave it. And then I serve it in a small cup at meals to get it in my kids' bellies every single day. The next thing is start slowly shifting your diet over. So that means reading labels, looking at processed food, choosing less processed food. So maybe you're not going to cut ice cream out this weekend, but you grab ice cream that has 4 ingredients instead of 24 ingredients. Maybe it means getting more vegetables on your plate every day. That might mean making cauliflower rice instead of regular rice. It might mean learning a new meal or 2 out of Danielle Walker's cookbooks. It might mean sneaking greens in a morning smoothie. So try to get every color of the rainbow on your plate every day, and less of the things that your body doesn't need, like noodles, too much bread, sugar, frankenfoods made in a lab. And that includes, all of those gluten-free foods. It's just garbage. So if you're truly wanting to start GAPS, it's good to practice a few things outside of broth. So maybe you learn to soak and dehydrate nuts. Even if you just have an oven, you can do it. Learn to make almond milk and coconut milk. Learn to start cooking with really good fat. So you'll be saving the fat that you eat. Like if you make bacon, you save your fat. Pick up a couple of tools that are really good to have in the kitchen, like fermenting cultures. I told you Cultures for Health is one of my favorite sites. Mason jars, a yogurt maker. Maybe you invest in a couple of those tools to have in your kitchen. Start to work on how you source your food. So are you buying exclusively from grocery stores, or do you know some farmers? So start looking for sources of grass-fed beef, pastured chickens, pastured eggs, raw dairy, or if you live in a state that has banned raw dairy, just as close as you can get. Fresh, unsprayed vegetables, so from a CSA, farm fresh berries and fruits, local raw cheeses, and you can get really good even at making your own cheese and culturing your own cheese. Raw honey. I have different farmers that I use for all of these things. So John and I, we really do a fraction of our shopping at stores now. It's all at the farms, and we're supporting local businesses by doing it. Then I would say watch one of the documentaries listed at the end of the class, or watch all of them. Like for your summer, pick a couple a week and just in the evenings, watch a bunch of them, and you will never touch fast food again. You will never grab milk out of the store again. Like you'll just be like, oh my word, I don't want any of that. So here's some diffuser recipes. And this is a little bit silly. I'm kind of being a dork in this part of the workbook, because how do I give you diffuser recipes in an entire class that's on healing your gut, right? So I'm going to get funny and just give you some recipes with culinary oils or vitality oils just for fun. And I have a fantastic cookie diffuser recipe too. And you might be like, Sarah, you just told me to drink bone broth and get more greens on my plate. Now you're giving me cookie diffuser recipes. Like, frankly, you're kind of a jerk today, right? Well, I can tell you on stage 6 of GAPS, I've got a killer oatmeal raisin cookie that is really cinnamony and so good. And I have a really, really good chocolate chip cookie too that I can give you guys. So this weekend, pop back on my page and I'm going to give you some of my GAPS cookie recipes that are just so yummy. So comfort. 3 drops of rutabaga or valor, whichever you prefer, 3 drops of cardamom, and 1 drop of thyme. So what I'm using are vitality oils in these diffuser recipes because I was getting very creative. So the garden, you got to be in a cooking mood to love this one. This is not my favorite blend in the diffuser. 2 drops of rosemary, 2 drops of thyme, and 3 drops of spearmint. It smells like an herb garden. House of Friends. This one is 2 drops of marjoram, 2 drops of eucalyptus, and 2 drops of tangerine. It's surprisingly okay. Like, just try it. You might think with the marjoram, I don't know, Sarah, I'm not picking up what you're putting down, but actually it's pretty good. So the Orchard, 2 drops of coriander. That's one you're probably not using in the diffuser every day. 2 drops of bergamot and 1 drop of grapefruit. That one's very sweet. A variation of the Orchard is 5 drops of coriander and 4 drops of lime. And then here's your sugar cookie recipe, which I know is very mean of me to do, but I will give you my cookie recipes this weekend, my healthy cookie recipes. So 7 drops of vanilla. I've got my naughty cookie recipe in the einkorn chapter. So if you want naughty, you can go to that chapter in the script book. If you want to be good, I'll give you those later. So 7 drops of vanilla, 2 drops of Idaho Grand Fir, and 1 drop of lemon or more if you like. So part 4 out of 10, here's some loyalty rewards ideas for months 1, 2, and 3 that will help you with the gut health class. So the Vitality Culinary Collection, that's really, really awesome collection. It gives you some great cooking tools too. The Get Up and Go set, so that's got Life 9, Peppermint Vitality, Jade Lemon Berry Vitality Drops and Energy, or Spearmint Tangerine Vitality Drops and Energy. I can tell if you're not a water drinker, we talked about drinking more water today, start trying the Vitality Drops in your water. My husband's favorite is the lavender lemonade. He doesn't think it tastes like lavender at all. He thinks it just tastes like lemonade. And he's on keto and intermittent fasting. The guy's lost like 110 pounds. He's doing amazing. And that's how he drinks flavored water, because you're also getting electrolytes by using those vitality drops. And a couple of them also have energy in them as well. So that jade lemon and the spearmint tangerine also have energy in addition to the electrolytes. So it's a really good way to flavor your water. If that's a product in Young Living you haven't tried yet, I would recommend you do it. Grab the GLF Vitality to support your gallbladder and your liver. Other items that you could do at 250, cilantro Vitality, coriander Vitality, and clove Vitality, just get you in your kitchen. And then for 300, you can add digest Vitality, dill Vitality, ginger, or nutmeg Vitality. So month 2, get the cleansing trio. We talked about that, and do a really good cleanse. You should be doing a cleanse with the change of the season. So spring, summer, fall, winter, 4 times a year, do a good cleanse, even if it's just 3 to 7 days. Do a good cleaning out, get some bone broth in your body, do a good reset. Did you know that if you fast for 72 hours, you have done a complete reset on your immune system? Total reset. It's like you flipped the switch off, turned it back on again. You rebooted your computer. So, it's not necessarily a bad thing if you're doing the cleansing trio, maybe right before that, to do a 72-hour fast if your body can handle that, and drink bone broth, or drink Ningxia, or drink just water, or drink, the vitality drops, and do a good reset. No food though. Do a good reset on your immune system. Other things you could add that would be good ideas for this class: Extra Life 9 Probiotic, Juva Cleanse Vitality, Cumin Vitality, and then Black Pepper Vitality, Copaiba, Citrus Fresh Vitality. For 300 PV, Carrot Seed Vitality, Celery Seed Vitality, Thyme Vitality. And then month 3, the 5-day Nutritive Cleanse, which is Ningxia, Balance Complete, and Digestion Cleanse. That's a wonderful, wonderful cleanse. Maybe some of the cooking oil. So Cardamom Vitality, we talked about that one. That was in one of your diffuser recipes. Basil, fennel, and sage Vitality. And then you can add some other things. Rehemagen enhances digestion. Sleek tea would be really, really good. The Akatea Oolong Cacao for weight loss benefits is great. Or you can tack on a couple more vitality oils like German chamomile or marjoram. You can add frankincense Vitality, because that's your gut health lining vitality oil. And you can also delve into some of the sleek line if you have a goal of weight loss in addition to gut healing. So what are the products we actually mentioned in the class? Frankincense, peppermint, Life 9, Omega Guys, and Veggie Caps are the 5 things we talked about. So I would definitely get those on an ER order and start incorporating them into your daily routine. So here's the bonus training that's not included in the script book. We're up to number 6 out of 10. You guys are almost done with the workbook tonight. I love these bonus trainings because they're special, rare things that I had to dig to find, that I really wanted to just pull out of the vaults and really give you something that's a little bit more than what you would find if you were just looking at a reference guide. So here's some deeper training. Gary Young believed deeply in good gut health, and he knew that everything started with a foundation of good nutrition and that wholesome products were getting harder and harder to find. So that's why toward the end of his life, he started offering more for the kitchen table. Einkorn products grown at the farms, an entire Vitality line of oils that you could add to your foods, even kitchen items so you have good cookware, and a cookbook of Young Living product users' favorite recipes. In the Essential Edge newsletter that comes with your loyalty rewards orders every month, there's always a section for a meal or a snack cooked with nourishing single ingredient foods. The books that Gary wrote talked about sourcing foods well and never spraying them with chemicals. I thought for this bonus section that I go back to one of my favorite books written by Gary Young, which is Essential Oils Integrative Medical Guide, to show you what he went through to make sure that the plants were safe for your body. So what is Gary's definition of organic? What does that actually mean? And if you don't have that book, by the way, the Integrative Medical Guide, that is a must have on every oiler shelf because Gary gives you tons and tons of protocols in there. So let's talk about what organic means to Gary Young. This comes from page 61 in that book, and these are Gary's own words. He says the key to producing oils that are of genuine therapeutic quality starts with the proper cultivation of the herbs in the field. Plants should be grown on virgin land, uncontaminated by chemical fertilizers, pesticides, fungicides, or herbicides. They should be grown away from nuclear plants, factories, interstates, highways, and heavily populated cities if possible. Because robust, healthy plants produce higher quality essential oils, the soil should be nourished with enzymes, minerals, and organic mulch. The mineral content of the soil is crucial to proper development of the plant, and soils that lack minerals result in plants that produce inferior oils. Land and crops should be watered with deep well, reservoir, or well-shed water. Mountain stream water is best because of its purity and high mineral content. Municipally treated water or secondary runoff water from residual and commercial areas can introduce undesirable chemical residues into the plant and the essential oil. Different varieties of plants produce different qualities of oils. So only those cultivated that produce the highest quality essential oils should be selected. The timing of the harvest is one of the most important factors in the production of oils. So if the plants are harvested at the wrong time of season or even at the incorrect time of the day, they may distill into a substandard essential oil. In some instances, changing harvest time, even by a few hours, can make a huge difference. For example, German chamomile harvested in the morning will produce an oil with far more azulene used for moderate occasional swelling than chamomile harvested in the late afternoon. So they make sure they do all their chamomile harvesting in the mornings. Other factors should be taken into consideration during the harvest, include the amount of dew on the leaves, the percentage of the plant in bloom, and the weather conditions during the 2 weeks prior to harvest. To prevent herbs from drying out prior to being distilled, distillers should be located as close to the field as possible. If you've noticed, all of our distilleries are right next to the fields. Transporting herbs to distillers hundreds or thousands of miles away heightens the risk of exposure to pollutants, dust, mold, and petrochemical residues. I bet you never thought that so much went into growing the plants that produce the oils that we enjoy and benefit from so much. Gary didn't even mention the process of trying to figure out where that plant grew best, from which farm or which part of the world, or how he uses frequency to get stronger roots. He demonstrated that to us when we were on Gold Retreat at St. Mary's, or the actual steps in organic farming, like worm casings and many of the things that he showed me when we were in Ecuador. He didn't talk about how they use essential oils against pests or use the floral water left over from the distillation to keep the dirt down on the roads around the plants. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of other little details that go into every single plant grown on a Young Living farm. So to say that raising plants is a labor of love, it is just a labor of love, that is a gross understatement for Young Living. It's just simply what they do best. So I'd recommend that you get your hands on Gary's book because it is getting harder and harder to find. So that is the standard of organic when Gary is talking about organic things. So let's talk about a DIY for the class. And this is pretty exciting. This one, I really, really like this. We're going to talk about some food for just a few minutes and how do I evaluate what a good dinner is and what a good dinner looks like. And Nina says such love and such commitment to the plants. I love the background on how the plants are grown. Thank you, Maureen. I appreciate that. All right, so DIY craft in the class. How can I have a workbook for a gut health class and not give you one of my favorite Harnish family dinner recipes as a DIY project? So we've been talking about nourishing the body. Let me give you a meal that we eat probably once or twice a month, maybe even more than that. And it's one that's really, really nourishing to the body. So whenever I'm evaluating a dinner, I step back and I just look at what's in it. Like, how many nutrients are my kids getting? Are they getting the rainbow? Are they getting vegetables, proteins, good fats to digest and break everything down? Like, what do they have access to? So for example, say you were making spaghetti. This is a meal that most families in America make about once a week or once every other week. So noodles, those are mostly empty of goodness unless you're using einkorn noodles. Tomato sauce, if you're not sourcing it well or buying it in glass instead of metal cans, you're getting sprayed food. It's a nightshade and many people are sensitive to it. Also, you get a relatively small amount of sauce with your dinner in proportion to noodles, cheese, and meat. So it counts as a fruit, but it's a highly processed fruit that would not give you many check marks on the color of the rainbow list that you need for fruits and vegetables daily. It's the only fruit or veggie in the entire meal, and it's likely to be flash heated, canned, pureed, and stored in a warehouse shelf for months before it got to you. So tomato sauce, I'm not giving you lots of brownie points for colors of the rainbow with that. Ground beef. If you're doing grass-fed beef, this is a good choice, but if you're not, you're likely getting hormones and antibiotics with your meal. And then cheese. Again, if it's not raw or organic, you're getting all the stuff that's pumped into the cows before they produce milk, which can include hormones for more milk production and antibiotics. So you could be giving your kids hormones, fake hormones. You could be giving them antibiotics and making them antibiotic resistant. So noodles, tomato sauce, ground beef, unless it's sourced well, and then cheese, if it's not raw or organic, not good, right? That's not a very nourishing meal. It's kind of a, I need to get dinner on the table quickly, and this is something I can make in 30 minutes or less, right? So let me give you a better choice. Now, this is not to say that we don't have spaghetti once or twice a month. We do, but I'll do it with einkorn noodles. I'll do it with raw cheese. I'll do it with grass-fed beef, right? It's more about making sure that we have really good foods a few times a week so we can offset the spaghetti nights, because I want to make sure that my kids are getting nourished. So it's about balance. If every single meal is about spaghetti and mac and cheese and pizza and chicken nuggets and processed food and eating out, you're setting the stage for major gut wars later, because those meals are not food. It's okay to have them occasionally, but they're not food. So enter in one of my favorite recipes: cheesy chicken casserole. So the ingredients: 2 cups of shredded cooked chicken, approximately. You can use more. 1 1/3 cups of cooked pureed butternut squash. You just cut it in half. You cook it for 1 hour in the oven at 350 degrees. Now, before you get off of this live, you just got to trust me on this, that this meal really, truly does taste amazing. I am not a squash eater, but I grow it just for this meal. So you cook it for 350 degrees, you scoop it out, and then you puree it in a blender like a Vitamix or a Ninja, which you can find at Walmart or at a food processor. A half a cup of coconut oil. I like the Expeller Pressed Organic. 1 cup of thawed green peas. You can sub in broccoli if you like broccoli better than peas, but I really like the peas in this dish. 1 to 2 teaspoons of Herbamare. Now, this is very important because this seasoning is what makes the dish. And then 1 to 2 tablespoons of raw apple cider vinegar. I like Bragg's vinegar, is really good. And then if you want to, you can put unsweetened shredded coconut on the top, and it makes it crispy like a breading. So here's the instructions. You put everything in a saucepan, you cook it over medium heat, so your chicken's already shredded and your squash is already pureed. If you do that, you can bring this whole meal together in 10 minutes. So you heat it in a saucepan over medium heat until the peas are warmed through and everything is really creamy. And then you top it with toasted coconut if desired. You could just put it really thin on a cookie sheet, put it on the top shelf in your oven at 350 degrees and keep the oven open a little bit and check it every couple of minutes. And as soon as it's light brown, pull it out and you sprinkle it on top, and it will, no joke, taste like you have breadcrumbs on top of this meal. So if you want, you can toast the coconut in a skillet over medium heat until it's golden, but it'll take a few minutes. So this recipe is from the blog site, Empowered Sustenance. She is wonderful. She's got great recipes. So what is in the meal? 2 vegetables. So we've got squash and peas. Squash will take on the flavor of cheese. It becomes a cheese sauce in this meal. No joke, it tastes like cheese. I'm not pulling your leg. Protein, you've got chicken. You got a good fat to break down the meat in your tummy. So that coconut oil that you're cooking with is a really good fat. You have a fermented food to help you absorb the nutrients that you're eating. Apple cider vinegar is a fermented food. And you have organic herb seasoning. So do you see the value of looking at every single ingredient in a dish and asking, how does this nourish my family? In this meal, there are vegetables, 2 vegetables. Your kids are getting double veggie this meal, fats, proteins, and all the things. This is going to get broken down in the gut, and it's going to nourish every cell of your family's bodies. On top of that, it tastes amazing. So it's a comfort food without all the negative side effects of comfort foods. You can serve it on top of rice. If your kids' guts can handle rice, go for it. Or cauliflower rice, which is my personal favorite, if you want to sneak in a 3rd vegetable for this meal. So for some reason, the butternut squash takes on that flavor of cheese when you add an herbamare and apple cider vinegar as seasonings. So that combo is really important for this meal to taste right. This is a dairy-free, gluten-free superfood dinner that's going to make your body strong. I am not a coconut fan unless it's in almond joy, but my almond joy days are behind me. Hashtag Candida, right? I'm also not a squash fan, but I love this meal. So just try it. You'll be surprised. If you're in a hide the veggies from my kids stage, you're going to love it. You're going to hug me in a hallway at convention for this recipe because it's a high five your spouse and yell, nailed it as they leave the dinner table kind of recipe. So it's pretty awesome. Let me show you what this recipe looks like, just so you guys believe me and you don't think I'm totally off my rocker. If you're allergic to coconut oil and you can handle dairy, then I would just do grass-fed dairy and like do some grass-fed butter in it. So Empowered, I'm going to look this up right in front of you guys. Empowered Sustenance Cheesy Chicken Casserole. If you type that in, it'll take you right to a recipe. Here it is, cheesy chicken casserole. This is what the meal looks like. It's that shredded chicken. Your butternut squash becomes that cheese sauce with the peas in it. And you can even put that coconut on top of it. See right here, to make kind of a breadcrumb on top of it. I'm going to zoom in so you guys can see this meal. Paleo creamy chicken casserole. This is a meal that nourishes your family. All right, it nourishes them. That's a totally different meal than what we just looked at with the spaghetti instead. So work for your meals. Admittedly, it's a good 60 minutes of work in the kitchen to get this meal banged out. You got to plan ahead to cook the squash for an hour, unless you do some prep time on the weekends and you already got it ready to go. You got to boil for about 20 to 25 minutes and shred several pieces of chicken. Then it's going to come together in a skillet in about 10 to 15 minutes. But in a world that's full of fast food, grab and go groceries, and prepared dinners, this one is an oddity that really defies what is demanded. But when you defy what is demanded, you have a healthy family. So one more recipe. I'm going to give you one last tidbit. I love cauliflower rice. I probably eat it twice a week, sometimes more. I have it in every bowl of bone broth that I make. I add it in like rice, chicken and rice. So I don't do veggie chicken. And, if I'm doing soup, I can't put noodles in it and I can't put potatoes in it because all that stuff is irritating to the gut lining, and regular rice is irritating to the gut lining. So I put cauliflower rice in it. It's like I actually have rice in my soup. It's amazing. So cauliflower is a superfood. It falls in the category of avocado and kiwi. It is really good for you. According to Medical News Today, it's naturally high in fiber and B vitamins, energy, anybody? And it provides antioxidants and phytonutrients that protect against cancer. It aids in weight loss and digestion. It's one of the top foods for fighting candida, and it contains levels of choline that are essential for learning and memory. Weight loss and memory. All I can say is cauliflower, anybody? So the good news is that it's stunningly easy to make great cauliflower rice, and it's served under the cheesy chicken casserole above in the book. So you can hardly tell that it's not actual rice. So let me tell you how I make my cauliflower rice. It is garlicky, it is buttery, and it tastes amazing. So killer cauliflower rice. You need 1 to 2 heads of cauliflower, depending on your family size. With 4 teenage boys, I actually make 4 heads of cauliflower every time I'm doing a meal. You do 4 to 6 cloves of garlic per head, salt and pepper, and then grass-fed butter. I really like Kerrygold brand. If you are lactose intolerant, you can do ghee instead. Epic is a brand that I really like with ghee. So pro tip, frozen versus fresh. The secret to good cauliflower cauliflower anything, no matter what you're making. If you're making cauliflower pizza crust, we talked about that in the class, is less moisture. So I've made pizza dough out of cauliflower that I can pick up with 2 fingers and hold in the air if you squeeze every drop of water out of it. The nice thing is you don't need to do that so much with cauliflower rice if the veggie is fresh. So if you're buying a bag of cauliflower rice instead of prepping it yourself, I'd recommend that if it's frozen, you defrost it for 30 minutes and then put it in a cotton bag, like a nut milk bag, and squeeze the moisture out of it before you cook it, because it's just going to make for better rice. So here's some instructions if you're making it from a head of cauliflower. You're going to cut the cauliflower into pieces that are no bigger than 2 inches. You're going to put that cauliflower into a Ninja blender. I actually like it better than a Vitamix because the Vitamix will turn it into mashed cauliflower like potatoes, right? Or you can put it in a food processor. You're going to fill that blender 3/4 of the way, not any more full than that. Find the pulse button, and if you're doing a food processor, this does the same thing. Pulse it 7 times until you have rice. 7 times, and it should be completely riced through. It's about the size of little pieces of rice. Then you're going to put a 1/2 stick of grass-fed butter in a skillet. Add cauliflower rice on medium heat, and then with a garlic press, squeeze at least 4 cloves of fresh garlic into your rice. Add 1/2 to 1 teaspoon of salt, just a taste. It really depends on how many heads you use. Then sprinkle it with black pepper and keep stirring the rice in the skillet for 7 to 10 minutes until it's tender, and then serve it under your favorite meals. Wowza. And that this is my cauliflower rice, and there's my cheesy chicken casserole. I love to put it in a casserole dish and bake it for a little bit. If you have raw cheese, I'll put some cheese on top of it and melt it. If you can't handle dairy yet, don't do that, but if you can, I'll melt a whole layer of cheese on top of it. It's so good. So here's some affirmations for the class. This is number 8. So now you guys have a recipe. As soon as I'm done, I'm going to post the link to it so you guys can go make that this weekend, because it's really good. You just got to get your hands on some Herbamare and use that as the seasoning, because it changes the whole thing. So affirmations for the class. I picked some affirmations that were mindful for eating your food. So today I eat for nourishment. That's a good one. I am making compassionate choices for myself. I am allowing my body to guide my food awareness. I stop eating when I'm comfortably sated. I eat so well so I can live well. I appreciate and give thanks for this food. I am free from old patterns and habits that involve food. I release past guilt and negative feelings about eating. With each bite, I feel more energized. I make powerful choices about food. My food is a foundation of my healthy lifestyle. I am listening to my body. I'm listening. All right, so for number 9, the journaling, I just want you to think through some of these questions. So if this is a class that just, no pun intended, hits you in the gut, like it's really one that you're like, okay, I have to make some changes. I'm on summer break. I need to be doing some things differently so that I feel healthier when I jump back into my school year, back in all my responsibilities. Then maybe take some time and do some journaling on this class, because thinking about food and about how you think about food will get you out of that mindset of everything I do has to be easy. Everything I do has to come fast. I got to get my food really quickly. Don't do that. Because what happens is then you're putting poison in your body because you're going for speed, and your need for speed is more important than your need to take care of yourself and nourish your gut. You got to make sure there's a few meals every single week that are helping your body, not hindering your body, right? So if this is something that really hits you deeply, then what I would say is start journaling on this class. So what oils did I use this day, week, or month? Or what supplements did I use? Any Young Living products? What results did I see? Is there an oil story that I want to remember? Is there a story about my diet or about my gut or the way that I felt when I made something that I want to remember? Did I help somebody this week? What did I do? Did I see a new idea with oils on social media or elsewhere that I need to try? What hit me from this class? And what are my current oils goals? So you just write those down. We've given you some lines. All right, this is the moment you guys have been waiting for. Once we get through the entire book, I will have a new class written. It is a Candida class that I am beta testing right now. It was such a good class to write, such a good class. And so I'm going to unlock that class when we finish the boot camp. So you guys will have access to that class. So what we're doing is we're playing Oily Hangman. If you're not familiar with your workbook, in the back of the workbook, at the very, very, very back is a worksheet saying, hey, you completely finished boot camp. Congratulations. You've done a great job. But just before that, is a thing called the Oily Hangman Game. And it's just a place where you can write down all of these letters. So we are up to letter 10 because this is 110, the gut health class. So I want you to write down the letter R. That's your letter for tonight. If you figured it out, do not give it away for everybody else that's enjoying figuring out the puzzle, but just fill in R in the 10th spot as we play Hangman through the entire boot camp. And then section 10 here is just for our brand partners. So if you're trying to use this as a tool to bring people into oils classes, maybe to get them on Vitality Frankincense, to get them on Omega Guys, enzymes, at the very least, enzymes. And you know, we're going to be launching the new website this month, so you can sign somebody up just with enzymes. Maybe you want to bring them in with some of those products. So what I would do is teach this gut health class, and then in that class, give them a script book mini or a Fearless in the Game Plan mini, put down the date and the name of the person. And then have they had any of the core 5 training, some of our core classes, I will funnel them to one of these foundational classes later. So oils, thieves, Ningxia, CBD, the kids class, other classes that they may have already had, or what's the class they want next. If they've got the mini, they can open it up in the front and say, hey, I'm actually really interested in your intro to diffusers class, or I'm super, super interested in your oils of the Bible class. Are you teaching that one soon? So write down what they are interested in learning and then funnel them into that next class. So this is just a place where you can track some of that stuff. Here's names of people you want to invite, their contact information, and have you invited them at least 5 times to a class. And that wraps up our 110 class, which means Tuesday, we will be doing the 4 most important Young Living supplements. And I'm giving you some clues with the coloring page here: wolf berries, omegas, vitamin D, anise, tarragon. Those are all things for the gut. So these next couple of classes are really, really heavy on the gut. So we are doing, we just wrapped up our gut health class. Then we're going to be doing our supplements class, and then we're going to be doing our enzymes class. So these are all just great, great classes, foundational classes, because people will come in and if they implement this stuff, they're going to feel good, which gets them coming back to more classes and doing more oils training. All right. Carrie says, thank you for the great information. I love you guys. I'm so appreciative of you guys hopping on tonight. I hope that this was really good. Sue Kane says, Ningxia, I love the berries in my tea. Maureen says, I'm feeling encouraged to keep working on my gut health and sharing with others. So now my challenge to you guys is go teach this class. You've got it in your hands. We'll get this PowerPoint up tomorrow for you. So I'll post once everything's gone live on the page and we do our big media launch with this. We've got a bunch loaded on the page already, but when we get the PowerPoint up, I'll post that. And I would really, really encourage you guys. I need a game plan t-shirt. I don't think we're selling them anymore. I'm so sorry. But I would really encourage you to try to teach this class in the next week. Like, sit down and just grab your mama, grab your best friend, grab somebody that really needs to hear this class, and sit down and just teach them the content in this class, work through some of the stuff in the workbook with them, and give them some ideas on ordering. And maybe you do a cleanse with them, or maybe you start them on some sleep products. Or if I had to pick one supplement that I really wanted to see big results from, do enzymes. Grab Essential Zyme 4. You guys need to make sure you do not miss that class, because it's such a good class. So, all right, who could use a couple of minis? I'm going to give away a couple of minis here to wrap this up. And then tomorrow we will do our media launch, and I'll get the rest of the stuff up for the gut health class. And I will continue doing more and more launches of our media packages. We're a little bit behind on some of those. Our PowerPoints are up for just about all of them, except the gut health one. But the rest of them, I want to get more content on there for you guys, so you can really use this in your classes. So Stephanie and Jim says, I can't wait for the enzymes class. Stephanie, I'm going to give you 5 minis. Alice Retsima Brown, I'm going to give you 5 minis. And let's see, Dan Pinciaro, if I said that correctly, I'm going to give you 5 minis. So I love you guys. I'm so grateful that you were on. Keep an eye on this page, because I'm going to be posting some recipes all weekend as I get into my kitchen and do some more cooking. And then as soon as I'm done tonight, I'm going to give you the recipe for that cheesy chicken casserole and where I source that recipe from, Empowered Sustenance. She really does a great job. So congratulations to all of our winners tonight, and get ready for Tuesday. Tell your teams, get everybody on for Tuesday when we do the supplements class, because that's a really, really important class. I think of all 600 products in Young Living, you will have more longevity with your team if they are taking a supplement every single month. If you think about it, if they're ordering lemon, how frequently do they need to order lemon oil? Unless they're taking it internally, like in water, lemon vitality. But if they're ordering turmeric, how frequently might they need the turmeric, or if they're ordering ningxia or enzymes, they're going to need to replace that every single month versus thieves cleaner might last them for 6 months. So if you're training on supplements, this is a great class to really spike OGV because it gets people using supplements with intent and purpose every single day. All right, every single day. So love you guys all to print Diamond Rising shirts. I'm ready to buy some. All right, well, we might get on that. I like to write books and build a crown versus designing shirts. But how do people get their minis? If you have won anything from me, go ahead and send my team an email because I do not write these down and I don't have your contact information. You guys have to send it to me. So if you have won any of my contests, you'll just email me at oilabilitywithsarah, SARAH, at gmail.com. Oilabilitywithsarah at gmail.com, and we will get those mailed out to you. I think we're working on March's winnings right now. All right. So I love you guys. You are a Diamond Rising. Do not forget who you are. Get out there and share and teach classes. It's how you grow OGB. It's how you build your business. And freedom feels good. It feels really good. And it feels even better knowing that you're literally helping every single family as you're teaching them this stuff. I mean, teaching about gut health is one of the most valuable things that you can share with somebody outside of Jesus. So I love your little studio. Thank you, Joni. I love you guys so much. I will get your, Allie says, I can do shirts for you. She's got a big grin on her face. You guys are relentless. You really want these shirts, don't you? I'm going to post the recipe for you. And then I will see you on Tuesday, same bat time, same bat channel as we launch the supplements class. So see you guys soon. Congratulations to all of our winners. Bye.